Hello, welcome back to our Fire Nursing Tutorial YouTube channel. In this class, we are going to study with another new topic, that is cerebrovascular accident. It's also called as stroke. Here, cerebro. The word cerebro refers to cerebrum. And then vascular. Here it's referred to blood vessels. Blood vessels. Here, cerebrovascular accident is also known as stroke or brain attack. And then World Stroke Day is on October 29. And then World Heart Day is World Heart Day is September 29. Here we'll see the meaning. Actually, what is cerebrovascular accident? Here, it is a disease. In which decrease perfusion to the brain or decrease blood supply due to the obstruction resulting in the here decreased blood supply due to the obstruction resulting in the loss of brain function. Brain function. Here it is a disease in which decreased perfusion in the sense there is an abnormal flow of blood through the blood vessels, that is decreased perfusion to the brain, and then decreased blood supply due to the obstruction. Where it is in the particular area resulting in the loss of brain function. Here, decreased blood supply refers to the, of course, there will be the ischemic changes. Yes, there is ischemic changes we can observe. Ischemic in the sense inadequate blood supply. This is all about the definition, meaning. Next we'll see the types. There are two important types. One is ischemic stroke. Another one is a hemorrhagic stroke. Here, ischemic stroke and then hemorrhagic stroke. Here, decreased perfusion in the brain or to the brain. Decreased perfusion to the brain. Here it is decreased perfusion perfusion to the brain. To the brain. Here, what is the reason? That for the decreased perfusion, here the reason. One is thrombolism, thrombotic. Thrombotic and then embolism. Embolism. Formation of thrombi and then embolism. Here, what is thrombotic? What is thrombi? Thrombolism. Thrombolism is nothing but a formation of clot. Yes. Here, there will be a blood vessel is there. In that, we can see clot. Clot in the blood vessel. Clot in the blood vessel, and then that's going to fix. It's going to remain fixed for the blood vessel. Stick on. And then here embolism. Embolism means what? Here also blood clot. Blood clot, but it's a loose blood clot. That is going to move. We can see the movement. Movement. It's going to move. It's going to remain fixed and then it's going to move. For example, here this is a blood vessel. Blood vessel, and then this is the flow. And then here is the blood clot. It's going to fix to the, it's going to remain fixed. It's going to attach for the blood vessel, that wall of the blood vessel. And then there is no, simultaneously, there is no flow of blood. And then here in the embolism, what happens? It's in a blood vessel. Here also it's in a blood vessel. Here what happens? Here clot formation is there, but it's move. It's going to move. Movement we can see, but in the appropriate place, it's going to stuck on. Till here it comes, and then here it's going to stuck on. And then here also disruption for the flow. It's also going to create disturbance for the flow of blood. This is thrombotic, thrombolism, and then it is embolism. Here types. Here some types are there. That is, one is thrombi, thrombotic, and then embolus, and then other type. Here thrombotic is going to affect for the 75%. It's going to affect for the 75%. It's going to affect for the 20%, and it's going to affect for the 5%. Here others means here intake of some medications, oral contraceptive drugs. It's going to cause a vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction we can see, that is increased BP. This is about the ischemic stroke. Ischemic stroke. Next we will see the hemorrhagic stroke. Hemorrhagic stroke. Here also same thing. Decreased perfusion. Perfusion to the brain. Decreased perfusion to the brain. To the brain. Here also there will be the decreased perfusion. Here also there will be the decreased perfusion. But the remain causes are different. Here it is due to thrombus and the embolism. Here it is due to the rupture of blood vessels we can say. It is due to the ruptured aneurysm. Ruptured aneurysm. Here aneurysm is nothing but there will be the widening or ballooning. There will be the widening or ballooning of the blood vessel, of the blood vessel. Why this is widening, this one? Here there is the weakness of the blood vessel, that is weakness of the wall of the blood vessel. Weakness of the wall of the blood vessel. Weakness of the due to the weakness of wall of a blood vessel, we can see the widening or ballooning of the artery or blood vessel. We can see this is ruptured aneurysm. Another one reason is trauma. Another one is a trauma. And then another one is a intracranial hemorrhage. Intracranial hemorrhage. Intracranial hemorrhage, that is due to the hypertension. That is due to the hypertension. Hypertension. Because there will be the minute blood vessels inside the brain. There is minute blood vessel inside the brain. When there will be a hypertension, blood flow when it is going to increase, that time here hemorrhage takes place due to the increased blood flow. Blood flow in the minute blood vessels. That is referred as hypertension. Here, due to the hemorrhage, we can observe increased intracranial pressure. Increased intracranial pressure. This is all about the types of cerebrovascular accident, and then it's going to affect for 85%. Here it's going to affect for 85%, and then it is going to affect for 15% overall. Next we'll see the risk factors. Here risk factors. Here there are two. That is, one is modifiable, another one is a non-modifiable. Modifiable, another one is a non-modifiable. One is modifiable, another one is a non-modifiable. First we'll see non-modifiable risk factors. Non-modifiable risk factors. First one is heredity, genetic. That is heredity. Next, sex. Here, male and female. In comparison, we can see more in males. That is, cerebrovascular accident happens in males compared to females. Genetic heredity, and then sex, and then age. That is more than 55 years. We can see age more than 55 years. These are the non-modifiable risk factors we cannot change. Next we will see the modifiable risk factors. Hypertension, and then hyperlipidemia, here hyperlipidemia, increased level of lipid in the blood. It's going to form clot formation. It's going to increase clot formation, and then diabetes mellitus, that is hyperglycemia. Hyperglycemia. More glucose in the blood. More glucose in the blood, it's going to cause blood thickness. End result that is blood thickness. And then next, smoking. Due to smoking, what happens here? That is decreased level of oxygen and then increased level of carbon dioxide. Due to this, what happens? Due to the decreased level of oxygen in body response, it's going to bone marrow going to produce more number of RBCs. There will be the increased number of RBCs. Yes, of course, there will be the increased number of RBC in the sense. Of course, there will be the increase in the HB level. Increased HB level. Finally, it leads to, what is that? It leads to polycythemia. We'll talk it about later in the next class. That condition referred as polycythemia. Smoking. After that, oral contraceptive pills. Oral contraceptive pills. Intake of oral contraceptive pills, it's going to increase blood pressure. And then atherosclerosis, that is fatty deposition inside the artery wall. And the next one is obesity. These are the modifiable risk factors. These are the non-modifiable risk factors, we can say. Next, we'll see the clinical manifestations. Clinical manifestations of cerebrovascular accident. Here we can remember it by the formula. That is, by this we can remember these clinical manifestations are very important. Here, F, that is facial muscles paralysis. And then A means arm muscles paralysis. S means slurred speech. And then T is time management. T stands for time management. Here, time management, that is as early as possible. As early as possible. That is, treatment has to be taken. That is time management. Here, we'll see right cerebrovascular accident. Here, right cerebrovascular accident. Here, what happens in this condition? There will be the infraction to the right side brain cells. Here, infraction to the right side brain cells is always going to affect for the left side body paralysis. Left side paralysis. And then we'll see next left side cerebrovascular accident. Here what happens? Here infraction to the the left side brain cells. Left side brain cells. Brain cells. It's going to give the result that is right side paralysis. Right side paralysis. Here, if cerebrovascular accident happens to the right side, that is for the right side brain cells, it's going to always cause the problem for the left side. If it happens to left side, it's always going to cause problem for the right side body paralysis. Why this is so? Here, neurons of medulla oblongata crossly connected. Neurons in the medulla oblongata crossly connected. That's what this gives result. Next clinical manifestation is altered conscious level. Altered conscious level, and then coma, and then hemipresthesia. Here, hemipresthesia is nothing but there will be the loss of perception or sensation, tingling or prickling sensation we can observe here. That is hemipresthesia. Here it indicates loss of sensory neuron. Here it indicates loss of sensory neuron. Loss of sensory neuron. Next, hemipresis. Next is hemipresis. Hemi means one side. Presis means weakness. One side weakness. It's going to indicate weakness in the one side of body part. In one body part, that is weakness is going to indicate weakness in the one side of a body part. That is flaccid muscles. And then here it's going to indicate loss of motor neuron. Loss of motor neuron. And then next, increased intracranial pressure due to hemorrhage. And then headache, mood swings, and then anoxia, here anoxia means inability to recognize object. That is agnosia. Next clinical manifestation is hemipraxia. Hemipraxia is nothing but inability to do purposeful movements. That is hemipraxia. Next is Horner syndrome, and then it is also called as oculosympathetic palsy. It's also called as oculosympathetic palsy. We can see here half of the facial part absent sweating. That is, half of the facial part absent sweating, and then meiosis, that is constricted pupils. Constructed pupil. Here constructed pupil. And then third one is dropping of eyelids. Dropping of eyelids. Here these three features called triad. These are the features of Horner syndrome. It's also called as oculosympathetic palsy. It's a very important one. It is. And then here oculosympathetic palsy. Here oculomotor is the third cranial nerve. It's a third cranial nerve. Here, of course, there is a problem with the third cranial nerve. These are the clinical manifestations of Horner syndrome. Its another one name is oculosympathetic palsy. And next clinical manifestation is dysphagia. Dysphagia is nothing but a difficulty in swallowing. Why? Due to the paralysis of a throat muscles. Next, aphasia. Difficulty to communicate. Inability to communicate. That is aphasia. Next one is paralysis. Here, it's a loss of nerve supply to the affected part. These are the clinical manifestations, very, very important. Next, we'll see diagnostic evaluations. First and foremost, there will be the history collection. And physical examination. History collection and the physical examination. CSF analysis, cerebrospinal fluid analysis, and then check bowel and bladder function. And then CT scan, X-ray, and then MRI, and then CBC, complete blood count, and then lipid profile. Here, these are the diagnostic evaluations for the cerebrovascular accident. Next, we'll see the management. In this, first we'll see the medical management. First, thrombolytic agents. For example, here TPA, that is tissue plasminogen activators, that is streptokinase, urokinase, that is thrombolytic agents. And the next, antiplatelet drugs. That is, for example, aspirin, and then this is NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. That is aspirin. It's an antiplatelet drug. And next is anticoagulated drugs. that is example heparin and warfarin. And then heparin can be given IV, it's an oral drug. Anticoagulated drugs, these are the blood thinners. Next is anticonvulsant drug. Anticonvulsant drug, that is for example phenytoin. And then next drug is statins. What is the function of statins? To reduce cholesterol level. Reduces cholesterol level. That is for example atorvastatin. And then next thing is antihypertensive drug. Antihypertensive, for example captopril. This is all about the medical management. Next we'll see the surgical management, that is endoatherectomy. Here ectomy means to cut. Here removal of atheroma and place stent in the carotid artery. Here atheroma. That atheroma is nothing but a degeneration of artery wall or wall of the artery. Here degeneration of artery wall. Why it's required? Because fatty deposition in the artery wall. That's what that removal of atheroma and place stent in the carotid artery, because carotid artery is going to supply blood. That's what they are going to do this. That name is referred as endoatherectomy. This is the surgical management. Next, nursing management. Here nursing management assess the respiratory function. That is respiratory status. Here mechanical ventilators can be given, and then check the bowel and bladder function, and then rice tube feeding, and then low fat diet, high calorie diet, high protein diet, high vitamin diet. These are all the nursing management. This is all what about the cerebrovascular accident or stroke. I hope you all are very clear with the topic. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.